to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about ego. I just had another layer of an ego death that was really important for me to have, and this is something that we are always going to be evolving on and working on as we go through life. And yeah, it's just something that I want to talk about that goes with the theme of my page. Ego has a lot to do with personal development and spirituality on that level, and it's really good for our health because I can get really deep into how emotions affect different parts of our body physically and our health, and keeping our egos in check is a really important part of that. Even though there are no good or bad emotions, they are all there to serve us in a way. It is our inner compass. There are emotions that tend to be a little bit more low vibrational, and when they are used out of balance, they can be really detrimental to our health, our direction, the way that we handle life, the way that we have connections. It can be really damaging. So this is something that I really want to encourage everyone to look into. Make a part of your inner work, your journaling and your self-reflection, because it will help and serve you in day-to-day life and kind of put you in a more observant state to where you're not acting impulsively as much when it comes to the way that you handle things on an energetic level, where you're responding from. Because when we're really uptight and responding from the ego, we tend to clench our energy a lot and our bodies in to the point where we're responding from a place of pain and defensiveness, and that's not really going to serve having genuine heartfelt connections. So this is something that I love to look at, and I tend to kind of check my own ego time to time just to make sure that I'm living from a place of love, truth, and in my heart space. We're not perfect. We all need a little bit of ego to survive this life. So having an ego is not bad. That is the first disclaimer. A lot of people are like, oh, you're in your ego. Ego's not bad. We have it for a reason. It is something that serves us and is a part of our survival and is actually healthy, because if we don't have an ego at all, we would be way too open, way too sensitive to be able to handle a lot of the harshness in this reality. So having an ego is not bad. It's more like how much do we use it and how do we use it that makes it something that serves us or doesn't serve us. So I want to get into this really quick. How to let go of ego driving your life. We don't want ego driving our life because we want our heart to drive our life. And if the ego needs to come in to protect the heart from time to time, that's not a bad thing, okay? When we are in our ego, we are usually in fear, disgust, or anger. And those three categories, I had to look at my little chart because I actually have this on my vision board, because this was a part of one of my goals to work on in my personal development. So we're gonna go in here and pretty much mad, jealous, embarrassed, furious, irritated, withdrawn, skeptical, frustrated, humiliated, rejected, worthless, insecure, anxious, scared, awful, disappointed, hesitated, revolted, loathing, and judgmental, okay? And that might sound really heavy, that might sound really negative, okay? But those emotions and those feelings actually do serve us, okay? But when they are out of control and we do not know how to handle them, channel them, we don't see the purpose and what they're trying to tell us, we can adopt them and make it a part of our lifestyle and how we feel and act all the time. It becomes a mood, and then that mood, if it carries on too long, becomes a character trait, and then it becomes like part of our value system. And we don't really want to value any of these and make any of these things part of our character. We shouldn't be really tying our character to any sort of emotion or feeling. We should not be identifying with our emotions and our feelings. Those things are temporary and everyone has all of them. So when we identify with them, we're limiting ourselves, because we actually do feel all of these things and they're all to serve a different purpose and then to be let go of, okay? So part of letting go of your ego is understanding what you're identifying with, and if it's actually a value or if it's like something you're tying yourself to that is like part of our human nature that's not meant to be a permanent identity trait. The other thing is the ego really wants to fit in. It really wants approval, and there's nothing wrong with wanting that a little bit. Humans, like, we are community creatures. We really want to fit in. We want to have a sense of community and connectedness. So having a little bit of ego is not bad, because we're like, okay, this is where we find our concrete similarities, as concrete as that might be, but those things can always change, you know? So a lot of times when people have ego deaths, they find that the things they used to connect with other people don't really resonate with them anymore, and they start to have this identity crisis, this ego death, where it starts to shift because they're like, oh, the way that I used to show up in my like human form and connect with other people and the things that I was all about in my identity, they're now shifting. Sometimes our ego can try to overcompensate for that by like coming out and like trying to prove something to get that approval. So the first thing you want to do is really just stop comparing and stop trying to seek approval, especially when you're moving into working from a more authentic place. Sometimes our defense mechanism can be getting in our ego and trying to protect what we know, even though what we know is not exactly true for us anymore, and there's bigger truths out there. The biggest thing for me is like trying to drop the guards, allow the authenticity to stick there, even if it looks uncommon, cringy, it's not something that we're used to, just giving it a chance and having an open mind. Really tapping into your heart and feelings. Anytime you start to feel your ego out of balance, it can, especially for me, it can show up as being distracted, numbing, not really allowing yourself to sit with your feeling. We tend to cling to one emotion and we kind of try to cling to that so we don't have to feel the next one. And it tends to be one of these 3 boxes that I just mentioned. As we go through the emotional scale, we get more clarity. As we allow ourselves to feel our feelings, we get more clarity. You might be angry in one moment, but if you allow that to transfer into sadness and tears, you might actually have a release. And then you're evolving past that, and your ego is gonna have to force to let go of that control in order to feel those feelings. So sometimes our egos can cling to a stage because we don't wanna let go of control and allow those other feelings to come in, because those feelings are going to be what propels us into a new state of awareness and being. When we allow ourselves to feel, it actually does open up our consciousness and our mind to feeling and experiencing and seeing things in a new way, and to tap into your heart. And sometimes you really do need to just listen to some sad music, think about some things that you've been kind of avoiding, and really ask yourself how you feel about things. Be willing to speak your truth to yourself or anyone involved. Think about what if you were just thinking about what your heart wants for yourself and other people. Try to get to the root of what your ego is trying to defend or distract you from or block, and really think like, why does it matter that this is blocked? And really ask yourself constructive questions that will help you dig up that answer, dig up your heart, dig up your feelings. And I know it's easier said than done. There's definitely a process, and it just depends on what you're dealing with. That is what the process will look like. But I haven't mentioned this in any of my other videos yet, but if you do want to work with me as a coach, just email me, message me, comment. I'll get a hold of you somehow and we can work on this. But so when it comes to your life, oftentimes when we're having an ego death, our ego tries to defend it the most. It's usually because we're going through some sort of change and we want to have control, or we're dealing with some sort of trauma, or just an aspect of life that's making us not feel secure or in control. So our ego comes in and tries to protect us and give us a sense of that control. So sometimes really looking at our lives and trying to take this change and letting go of control as an opportunity to build a more meaningful foundation for whatever your ego is trying to protect. Your ego, it doesn't even have to be in all areas of your life. Sometimes like the rest of your life, you might show up fine, but then as soon as like a relationship comes up, or this situation comes up, or your work comes up, or something, you start getting into your ego again, because it's just something that you're trying to grasp control over. And if you do that long enough, it will show up in other areas of your life. But for now, if it's just one area of life for you, if you address that quickly, it will not spread. But trying to take where your ego is trying to invade and be overpowering and imbalanced, and find where you can add the most meaning. Again, and that's gonna require you to tap into your heart space, your heart chakra, which you can do through feeling. If you can't feel, journal your truth until you can feel. Try to do things that will trigger some form of like emotional release for yourself. And if you know yourself well, you know what those are. It might take a little soul searching, take a little reflection to find what those things are for you. But when you do, that will be your system. Those things can change as you evolve, get older. Things change, maybe your friendships change, your lifestyle changes. So, you know, it just depends on where you're at, what you do. This is like a topic that I could keep getting into over and over and over again, and I will definitely make a whole separate video on how to know if you're having an ego death, why they're necessary, why they happen, what triggers them, what is life like after an ego death. I will make videos on all those things if that's something you really want. For now, I'm just introducing the overall themes and topics of the kind of vibe I bring on here and what I like to talk about. And if it's something that you want me to expand on, always leave a comment and ask me, and I will do so. And I will put more notes into it. But when we do live from our ego, we tend to live from a place of fear, of surrender. And another thing that I like to do is really just like, you know, pray and like give it to, you know, whether it is God, the universe, creator, source energy, the divine. You have a loved one that passed that you feel is protecting you, your ancestors, your angels. Having some form of faith really does help with ego. If you're not there yet, I get it, because everyone's on their own journey. But if you do have some sort of faith, just practicing releasing, even if you say it out loud, releasing control and being like, I don't need the outcome to be this. I don't need the outcome to be this. I will be fine and healthy and full of love regardless of the ego really is focused on the outcome and how things are going to work out. That's why it wants so much control. So I find detaching from the outcome, practicing the art and law of a detachment has been really helpful for me, because that puts me in a place of a lot of grace, flexibility, open-mindedness, and this place where I don't need things to happen a certain way, because I have consistency with myself and I'm connected to my heart, my purpose, meaningfulness that I give life. There are things that we will always be able to control outside of our ego, and I think using your ego to healthily tap into what you're meant to control and taking the focus off of the things that you absolutely can't takes a lot of weight and responsibility off your shoulders that is not meant for you to have. I like to just like pray, give it to creator, you know, and be like, give me the answer for this. I'm open to answers, surrendering that. One of the exercises that helps me get through everything is literally, okay, our egos are like preparing for the worst, trying to defend ourselves from the worst, protect us, right? I like to challenge my ego by saying like, okay, let's just say I'm scared of this outcome. I'm like, oh, I need to defend myself because I'm scared of this outcome. I will actually pretend like the worst outcome happened, and I will be like, okay, let's just pretend, like, let's just say that did happen. Would you still be fine? Would there be a way out of this? Would you still be able to feel good and live a good life? Yes, it usually is yes. When my ego's freaking out about something and I'm like, well, so let's just say that did happen. Like, would we still be cool? Be like, yeah, we would. So let's not freak out. Let's not try to control this, because the more you try to control something so something will happen, it actually starts to happen. And this is on law of attraction, and I will be getting into law of attraction videos. I will be going through each law of the universe and explaining it, breaking it down, and then I will talk about my personal experiences, story times, and all that stuff. The more that you give attention to something, the more you're actually going to magnetize it towards you. Sometimes fear can be a huge fuel in law of attraction. Not all the time, because sometimes the more that uncomfortable we are with something and we don't want it, we do repel it. So there's like a couple lenses with this. We do repel some things we're uncomfortable with, but sometimes depending on what the emotion is, how strong it is, we can actually kind of create it in the process of trying to control it and keep it from getting to us. It actually will start to create it. So it's good. I'm not saying every thought. This isn't like the kind of thing where I'm like, oh, every thought you have is the reason why this happened to you. Like, I believe there's a toxic side to this. I believe everyone's on a different sensitivity with this. Everyone has different energy. Everyone has a different path. So there are some things that are true, but might not be true for you. So keep an open mind, because some people are like, it's really toxic to say your thoughts create your reality. Maybe that isn't the case for you. Maybe for some people though, their energy, the way that they're here is that sensitive that is the case. So, you know, use your discernment. Don't always think everything's about you, this kind of stuff. If it's you, it's you. If it's not, it's not, you know. If it's something that's toxic for you, maybe there's a different stage of inner work that you need to focus on before you get to that. Unclench, let it go. Easier said than done, but just doing these practices and being open-minded and like shifting your perspective will really help you elevate past that, and you will actually attract more peace, more abundance, more things to not be afraid of. And most of the time when our ego is trying to step in, it's not always right. You know, our ego has nothing to do with our intuition. Our intuition is a totally separate thing. And sometimes when we really want to be tapped into the truth in our heart and intuition, we kind of do have to let go of that overpowering ego in order to feel our sense of direction and our intuition. I hope this helped. I hope everyone's having a beautiful day. And don't forget to like, subscribe, let me know what videos you want to see, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you. I love you. Bye.